Good morning, boys and girls. So you should be all caught up with math now, and we are going to be jumping right in to continuing chapter 9. And you should already know the vocabulary words we'll be talking about today and using as we're learning how to graph on our coordinate grid using ordered pairs. We are going to review a few of those words before we get started. That way you can know what they look like on our graph before we jump into the lesson. The first is going to be what we see right here, and that is what I want you to tell me what the vocabulary word is. I'm going to give you the definition. It is at 0, 0, and it is the point where the X and Y axis intersect, and it is called the origin. Great job. Now we have our X and Y axes, and those are the two lines that are being pointed to on either side of our graph here. If you remember, the x-axis is horizontal. Can you show me horizontal with your arms? Great job, horizontal. So that means that this line right here is going to be our x-axis. And that means this other line right here is going to be our y-axis. And the reason that is so important is because if you remember, when we look at ordered pairs, which you will see right down here, you have to look at the x-coordinate, which is the first coordinate, to tell you how far to move left or right on the x-axis. Then you look at the y-coordinate, which is the second coordinate, to tell you how far to move up or down on the y-axis. You always start at the origin. So you can see we have 3 points on our graph up here. And we are going to work on telling how to get to those points from the origin. So you would say you start at the origin and you move 2 points to the right along the x-axis, right? So we started at the origin, we moved to the right 2 places along the x-axis, and then we would move up 1 along the y-axis. Okay, I want you to try to tell me how to get to this point. You would start at the origin, you would move to the right, how many spaces? 3 along which axis? The x-axis. And then how many spaces would you move up? 3 as well. Great job. Along the y-axis. You are rocking it. So if we wanted to write this ordered pair, if you remember, an ordered pair always starts with the parentheses. Then you put the x-coordinate, so it would be 3. Then you always put a comma. Then you would put the y-coordinate, which in this case is also 3, and then you would close your parentheses. So this last point on the grid, what would the ordered pair be? 1. What's the y-coordinate? 4. Great job. So you have now practiced telling me how to get to a point, writing the ordered pair for a point. Now I want you to practice getting the ordered pair and plotting the point. So we are given A, B, and C. Each of those are an ordered pair, and we are going to plot them on this graph right here. So let's go ahead and plot A. We have 3, 4. Remember, 3 is our x-coordinate, so we need to move 1, 2, 3 spaces to the right. And if you notice, this graph actually skips a space in between each number, and that's just so that it makes the graph bigger for us. So we go to 3 on the x-coordinate, and then we go all the way up to 4 on the y-axis for our y-coordinate, and that is where we will draw our point. Let's see if I can get it to draw really quick. Over 3, up 4. There we go. And we'll draw our point on our grid. Okay, so what would my coordinate be for the x coordinate on B? Right, 2 is my x coordinate, which means I go 2 over to the right. And then 1 is my y coordinate, so I go up 1 and plot my point at 2, 1. Great job. Now C, How many spaces to the right do I need to go? 5. So I'm going to find that 5. And then how many spaces do I need to move up? 3. Great job. So I'm going to plot that point at 5, 3. And it's okay if it's not perfect as long as I can tell where you're trying to get it. Alrighty, so this last one, if you have some graph paper with you, you can pause the video and try it out. If not, let's plot them together. All right, we're going to have 8, 4. That means I need to go over 8 and up 4. So we go over 8 and up to 4. Sometimes it's easier if you find 8 and 4 with your fingers, and you can come until your fingers connect to show you where you will plot that point. If it's a little hard to do it on the computer, rather than on a piece of paper, you can put your finger on 8, put your finger on 4, and go up and over until they connect to know where to plot your point. Our x coordinate is 1 and our y coordinate is 4. So that means that we're going to go to 1 on our x-axis and up to 4 on our y-axis, and we will plot it at 1, 4. Our ordered pair for t is 9, 0. So we're going to go over to 9 on the x-axis, and then do we move any up? No, right? It says 0. So we're actually going to stay right on the x-axis, and it's just going to be 9, and we're not going to move any up because the y coordinate was 0. Then we have u at 0, 0. So that's actually at the origin, right? Because it's telling us we're not going to the right or left, and we're not going up or down. We're staying right at the origin at 0, 0. And we could actually, since they gave us letters of these points on either of these, we could label them, right? This point was U. We had T at 9, 0. We had S at 1, 4. And we had R at 8, 4. And this will help because sometimes you will connect these points to make shapes when we get later on into more graphing. And it's easy to look at each point as R rather than, oh, well, what point is at 8, 4? Well, R is at 8, 4, right? And this is also going to help with your assignment. Let me show that to you really quick. So your assignment is on Wiser today. And here you have a lot of different ordered pairs on this graph, right? Your job is to click on the dot of each ordered pair that is labeled for you, and you have to tell me what the ordered pair is. Remember, it always starts with a parentheses. Then you tell me the x coordinate first. So here it's at 2 on the x-axis. Then you have to put a comma, and then you go to the y-axis and say it is at 3. So my x coordinate is 3, and you have to make sure you close that parentheses as well. You can click off and go to the next one. I'm not sure if you can tell, but it's kind of a green color before you've done it, and it turns blue after. And then there's a map that has some coordinates on the grid that are labeled, and it is going to ask you some questions about what is located at a few of these points on the map. When you're done, hand in your work, and if you do make a mistake on the graph and forget a parenthesis or forget a comma, I will go back and hand grade it to make sure that you get those points correct. If you have any questions, please let me know. I hope you have a great rest of your day.